Welcome back, everyone. We are headed into a week 3 of fantasy hockey. Hopefully, a lot of you are undefeated through your first couple weeks. But if you're not, if you're 1-1, if you're 0-2, if you're struggling early on in the season, remember to not panic under any circumstance. You drafted your team for a reason. Do not make harsh decisions out of the gates, because we're not even through 10 games yet into the season. So take a deep breath, relax. We're going to get you sorted. I'm not saying don't make any changes, but let's not, panic and just drop players that we know could have good long-term value. But let's look to add some pieces if you have injuries on your roster, if you have guys that, you took in the later rounds that you took a shot on and they're just not seeing the role that they have. So I'm going to go over a ton of forwards, defensemen, and goalies in this video that you guys should be adding to your teams that will give you a better long-term outlook into this season of fantasy hockey. Let's get into the video. All right, so first and foremost, looking at the best schedule for week 3, there are a ton of off nights this week, and Calgary is by far the best streaming option. So if you're just looking to stream a player, depending on your league and your league settings, whatever works best for you, whether it's a pure peripherals guy, whether you're looking for stats, whether you're hunting for a higher end player, if you're in an 8 or 10 man league, you want to target somebody from the Calgary Flames. We do have one in this video with some long-term outlook as well, so be sure to check that out. But if there's like a Matt Coronado that you guys want to grab, I would highly recommend doing so because they just have the best schedule for the week. And then if you can't get, or if you don't like anybody on the Flames, the Buffalo Sabres have come to fruition, and you'll see a lot of players in this video. But the Sabres, the Wild, the Devils, and the Jets have the secondary best schedule for the week, where they have 3 off nights on the schedule. So be sure to check out those teams if you don't like anybody from the Flames. Moving on to our forward ads, you see a lot of Sens, you see a lot of Ducks right out the gate here, but Shane Pinto is continuing to torch the National Hockey League in a contract year. He's already got 7 goals on the season. He's playing line 3 and power play 2. He seems to be getting more minutes than if you saw last week's video. So his average time on ice is actually bumped up. Through his first 6 games, he has 7 goals and assists, 0 power play points, 21 shots, 4 hits, and 4 blocks. I do think this scoring rate is a little unsustainable, but in the meantime, if you want to pick him up, I think he's a very good sell high target right now. You want to hold on to him, potentially be able to dish him for a player that's struggling, which, if you guys stay tuned in this week and hit that subscribe button, we're going to have an early trade targets video for you sometime in this upcoming week, so stay tuned for that. But Shane Pinto, 50% owned. I would grab him just while he's hot, ride out the wave. You could sell high on him. A lot of options there. Moving on, Cutter Gauthier was in last week's video, is going to continue to be in videos until he hits over 50% roster. He's right on the cusp right now. Line 2, power play 2, playing close to 19 minutes average time on ice through his first 4 games. 3 goals. I get the counting stats are a little underwhelming right now in terms of the production and the goals and the assist side, and 0 power play points doesn't feel good. But he has 22 shots through his first 4 games, one of the best per 60 shot rates in the entire National Hockey League, as well as he's tied for 7th currently with most shots in the NHL, only through 4 games, where most teams have played at least 5 or 6 at this point. So this is a really good sign for Cutter Gauthier. This is why we put you on to him in the offseason and leading into this season. We definitely wanted you guys to draft this guy because of his insane shot volume. The hits and blocks will come as the time on ice does, but I think for Cutter, you need to add this guy on your roster right now. If you haven't, the production is going to come. Dylan Cozens at 46% owned. I arguably like him better than I like Shane Pinto for an ad moving forward. He's line 2, and he's getting that power play at 1 time, which will be critical for his success moving forward. The 17.06 average time on ice should start to bump up a bit. He is only through 6 games so far and has 3 goals, 2 assists, 3 power play points in that span, along with 17 shots, 26 hits, and 2 blocks. We knew Cozens was going to be a great shot and block combo for the season. He was very successful in Ottawa towards the end of last year when he came in and started playing on that top power play unit. I like Cozens more than Pinto moving forward, simply because the fact that I feel Pinto's scoring rate is a little unsustainable right now, even though the shot volume is better. I think Cozens gives you a better shot and hit mix, and his production will continue to be high as long as he's on that top power play unit. So highly recommend you guys grab Dylan Cozens. Leo Carlsson at only 40% owned. Guys, we told you he's in the breakout video for a reason. He's breaking out this this year. He is their guy in Anaheim. He's line one, power play one, 1741 average time on ice through 4 games. He's got 13 shots in that span, which is great news because typically we're used to seeing Leo at a lower end shot rate, as you know, just he's more of a playmaker, but we're already seeing the production that we expected out of Leo Carlsson in his breakout season. That's going to happen this year, guys. Book it. He's only 40% owned. He's going to be around 60% owned. Hopefully the peripherals start to continue and the shot volume does get up a little bit, but it's not awful. And I think the production and the power play points are going to be well worth it this season. So highly recommend that you guys grab Leo Carlsson moving forward. And then finishing out our list, we have Jonathan Huberdeau of the Calgary Flames. He's only 35% owned. His roster ownership is going to jump a ton as well because he's back from injury off of a great preseason. He missed the first couple games there for Calgary. He's skating line one and power play one. In his first game, he had close to 19 minutes time on ice. He had a power play goal, 3 shots, and a block. You can expect the same production out of Huberdeau moving forward. He's typically skewed more towards being a playmaker, as we know historically. The shot volume isn't necessarily elite, but he does mix in some blocks there, so he does have a pretty solid floor, and he's center and left wing eligible, which will be great for your guys' lineups moving forward. Moving on to some of our deeper ads, these are going to be forwards below the 30% rostered mark. Owen Tippett, left, right wing eligible. He's now line one and power play one, guys. This is why you don't panic on players early and you drop them early on. Tippett's ownership is going to skyrocket. He's got 14 shots in his first 5 games, 9 hits and 2 blocks. We know he has a great shot volume and hit mix, and he's got a pretty good block mix on top of that. The 3 goals, I'm not worried about. The production is going to start to come as Michkov gets a little bit more settled into the season. I anticipate that he's going to take over in that top 6. The time on ice is going to jump up. The production is going to jump. We know he's got a good shot, hit, and block mix, so Tippett is a great option moving forward. At 30% owned, grab him while you still can. Vladimir Tarasenko of the Minnesota Wild is pretty much a power play merchant. He has 1603 average time on ice in his first 6 games. He's now skating on line 2 and has been stapled on that top power play unit. He's got 10 shots in his first 6 games, which isn't great in terms of shot volume, but it's good enough to roster just given the fact that he's seeing that top power play unit. I think in deep leagues, he's a really, really good option. As you can see, he's already got 4 power play points through 6 games. That top power play unit is going bananas right now, like an unsustainable rate likely, but you might as well roster Tarasenko while you still can, especially now that he's skating in that top 6 as well. 2 hits, 2 blocks in his first 6 games. We're not expecting a ton in terms of those adjacent peripheral stats in hits and blocks out of Tarasenko, but the power play one has just been insane. Zach Benson of the Buffalo Sabres, 13% owned. The Sabres are alive, guys. They're not getting shipped to the AHL or the ECHL. They're going to stay in the NHL. It looked really sketchy there for a little bit. I'm joking, of course, but Zach Benson is line one, power play one, and seeing over 17 minutes average time on ice through his first 2 games. Remember, he was injured, very similar to Jonathan Huberdeau to start the season. So once he's been slotted back in this lineup, he has 5 assists through 2 games, 2 of which are on the power play, 4 shots, 2 hits, and a block. So keep that in mind. I would grab Benson as my number 1 option out of all the Sabres if he's available. Skating top line and top power play. Like, I know the Sabres aren't going to be the best team in the league this year, but Benson should be the beneficiary of skating alongside guys like Tage Thompson. Jackson Blake, 11% owned, line 2, power play 1 in Carolina. He's skating over 17 minutes average time on ice in his first 5 games so far this season. 1 goal, 3 assists through that time, 2 power play goals. But the thing that I'm most impressed about is the shot volume. 20 shots on goal through his first 5 games. That is 4 shots a game. His shots per 60 are insane right now. 2 hits and 2 blocks. So definitely grab him while you still can. Josh Doan, another Sabre to keep an eye on. He's now line 2 and power play 1, getting around 15 minutes average time on ice through his first 6 games. He's had 5 points in his last 2 games on that top power play unit, 3 power play points in that span. 18 shots on goal, 7 hits, and 0 blocks is kind of where my focus is at. He's got a good shot and hit mix, it looks like, through the first little bit here. One of the better shots per 60s in the National Hockey League in 18 shots given his time on ice. So we could see like a mini kind of Cutter Gauthier here, similar to what we saw last year. So something to keep an eye on for Josh Doan moving forward. And then finally, rounding out our forwards, we have Victor Olofsson. He's been moved up to that top power play unit. So something to keep an eye on with him if you're in a super deep league. He's 1% roster. We know he's a goal scoring threat. He's got 15 shots through his first 6 games. So again, something to keep an eye on if you're in a deeper league. If he's on that top power play unit, I think very similar to like a Vladimir Tarasenko, he's going to return a ton of value with some goal scoring upside and some good shot volume. We do have some changes among defensemen. First and foremost, Shane Gostisbehere is currently day-to-day. We saw K'Andre Miller jump onto that top power play unit in his absence. Plays over 23 minutes a night. Through his first 5 games, he's already got 4 points and 1 power play point, 12 shots, 6 hits, and 7 blocks in that span. So even outside of him not being on the power play 1, I think K'Andre Miller is in a pretty solid spot for this season as like your 4th or 5th defenseman either way, just given the peripheral mix and the fact that he does seem to be chipping in offensively. So just keep an eye on Shane Gostisbehere and see what his injury status is. But either way, K'Andre Miller is a decent depth defenseman to roster on your team. Sam Brunzell continues to be that top power play guy in Chicago. The power play points I think are going to come very similar to what I said last week. I'm not too worried about it right now. He is a rookie. He's still skating on that top power play unit. It's going to start to come in terms of the production as we move forward into the season, so I'm not too worried about him. Just with a shot and block mix on top of that, like I think he's got a decent enough floor that you can continue to roster him. We'll see what happens as we progress through the season, but it's also quite possible that everything's just ran through Bedard on that top power play unit, so we'll see what Rinzel is like. I still think he's worth adding to your team for the upside moving forward. Brent Burns is very similar to K'Andre Miller in the sense that he's a solid 4th or the bench defenseman. Pair 2, power play 2 in Colorado, playing over 20 minutes a night through his first 6 games. He's got 16 shots already with 4 assists and 1 power play point, but the 16 shots and the 10 blocks is a great start for Burns out of the gate here. He recently been added to the Avs in the offseason, so if he continues to shoot at the rate that he's doing and get that block mix as well, I think he's definitely worth an add moving forward. Dmitry Orlov, so John Klingberg went down with an injury just last week. He was skating on that top power play unit. He's got 4 assists and 2 power play points already through the first 5 games of the season. San Jose does like to kind of split up their power play, and the distribution is definitely more skewed to being even than, say, a top power play unit like the Avs, for example. But the 9 shots and 11 hits, it does give him a pretty solid floor on top of that. So something to consider if you're in a deeper league as well. And Klingberg's injury is a little bit more long-term than it just being day-to-day. And then Jeff Petrie, I don't know why he was skating on the top power play unit in Florida, but he was getting some power play one time. So at 1% rostered, again, if you're in a deep league, would definitely take a look at Jeff Petrie. If you really need a defenseman, the peripherals aren't great through his first 7 games by any means, but if he is skating on that top power play unit, then he does have a little bit of value associated to him. Finally, we've got 3 solid goalie ads for you guys moving forward. Jake Allen should be your #1 priority out of the gate. Markstrom is out. We're unsure of what his timeline looks like, but he will be the starter until Markstrom returns. He's only 23% owned right now. Go out and grab him while you can. Alex Lyon looks to be the starter in Buffalo moving forward, and in his last 2 games, he's had both wins and a shutout. So I get that, again, you're on the Sabres, but if you're looking for just pure volume, he is a great ad moving forward. And then same thing with Dan Vladar. He should start to get more volume. He's been really good through his first 3 games. And I don't think Urson is going to get a ton of volume moving forward, considering how good Vladar's been. So something to keep an eye on there. That really hasn't happened yet, but I do anticipate that Vladar should be the starter, or at least get a lot more volume moving forward, just given his strong start out of the gate here. He has a 934 and below a 2 goals against average in his first 3 starts for the Flyers. That will do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any comment you want down below. I will sift through all of them. If you have any questions on who you should add, who you should drop, trades, whatever the case is, I will be in the comments down below replying to every single one of you. So let me know what you guys think. As always, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed that content. I will see you in the next video.